Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Ramsey Al-Ramahi on the line, and he's head of sales over at Apollo.io. Ramsey, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Adam. Greatly appreciate it.
So I'm excited to get more into what you're doing over at Apollo. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into your background. So how did you get started in your career and in business?
Yes, so I grew up a salesman practically, right? My dad was a businessman. I came here at a very young age of 7 from Iraq, right in 1990, right before the Gulf War. I got very, very lucky. I ended up staying on asylum, and my dad just started building different businesses here and there. One of my first jobs was literally riding in an ice cream truck with him, selling ice cream at the age of 14 because I couldn't drive and he couldn't speak English. So that's where I really started selling. I started selling ice cream. My first quote-unquote real job at the age of 16 was Disneyland. And so I think if you think about it, between selling ice cream to kids and Disneyland, I think it was ingrained really early on that sales is all about the experience. I went on to, I built a baklava company called Baklava. Still have that up and running as we speak. That was more of a creative outlet more than anything else, but being able to build a business from scratch. Went on to work for a company called 5 Stars because I felt like that was a creative outlet. I wanted to get more on the marketing side, so I worked for a customer engagement platform for about 4 years, and then on to paid media at Steelhouse as the regional sales director there before taking the role on at Apollo. For some added insight there, I actually brought Apollo into the last 2 organizations I worked for and ripped and replaced some other platforms as well with Apollo, saw the success that I brought for my career, had some great relationships here with the founders, and lo and behold, several years later, I ended up joining the team to head the sales team. So very excited, very pumped to be a part of this organization, and we're on to some big and better things right now as well.
Man, I love your backstory, and I love talking to people that are like real salespeople. Like it's just in their blood, one way or another. I mean, you started out selling ice cream. I love this story. This is epic. I love it. As a teenager. So that being said, there's some people that are maybe just getting started on their career listening, or maybe they're just graduating college, or maybe they didn't go to college, and they're thinking about sales overall as a profession and a career for a long-term game plan, because you've managed to grow a career, grow businesses, do other things, and you understand the importance of sales. What kind of advice would you give to that new either entrepreneur and or person that's just getting out there in their career on a career in sales?
When I was younger, there's this acronym that I came up with that I still use to this day. I think I was like 13 or 14 when I came up with this, but it's called WOFO. And it really stands for window of opportunity, right? And I think that sums up sales in a nutshell, right? There's always windows of opportunity. And there's always going to be, whether it's going to be a big sliding door that you could open up and step out and go, that's the big window right there. Or it could be a window that's shut and you think it's locked, but if you go up to it and lift it up, there's an opportunity line right there. It's all about that window of opportunity. And I think making the best of what you got and taking advantage of those opportunities to see where it leads. You never know where it leads, actually. And because, I mean, as you said, selling ice cream now, heading a sales team, 9-day difference.
No, I think it's great advice, and it just makes so much sense. And the interesting part about your advice, though, is that even if you're not going through a sales career or background, I mean, you still don't necessarily know where your next step is going to be. I mean, when we just get started, we think we do, right? Like we just got out of college or we just started our career, we're like, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to do, then I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. That doesn't usually happen. I mean, very, very small percentage that actually go through that full 10-year plan they created right out of college. So no, I love your advice, Ramsey. And I want to switch it up a bit. I want to get a little bit more into what you're doing over at Apollo. So first, tell me more about the company, please.
Yeah, so Apollo is actually the only data-first sales acceleration platform. Fancy way of saying, we're an end-to-end platform that not only enables you to send the right messages to the right prospect at the right time, but we're data first, which means we have all the contact information such as name, title, email, direct phone lines, and along with 80 plus different data points for over 200 million contacts across 14 plus million companies worldwide, all in one UI. So the beautiful part is we really make the salesperson's life and the marketing person's life a lot easier by having that all-in-one platform where typically you have numerous tabs across your desktop, each being a platform in itself, navigating between the different platforms to get one thing done. You can do it all in Apollo.
Wow, and I mean, so a couple of things that come to mind as you describe your product. Number one, saving time, not just for the salesperson on the day-to-day, but also in training and onboarding new salespeople. Talk a little bit more about that and kind of user face and user ease of platform, because that's I think the dream of every sales organization out there. Can I just teach somebody one platform and get the majority of what I need them to do done, right?
Adam, you hit it right on the money right there. That's exactly it. And then just a real life example of the last company I was at where I brought Apollo in. We were using numerous other platforms when I got into to the company, and have shared with them what Apollo has done and what I've been able to do at the previous company with Apollo, and brought them in. The typical ramp time before we brought Apollo was 6 to 8 months for a rep to get ramped, and that's exactly it because you're using numerous different platforms, training, and just the time it takes to even beyond the training. Let's say you learned it, to go from step A to B, C, D, E, F to finally getting that task complete. You're going through a lot of different programs, a lot of different steps. We could do it with one click, right? So we changed the ramp time from 6 to 8 months to 3 months. Some reps even ramped within 2 months. So it does definitely have a massive impact on time saving, workflow, time management, and making sure nothing falls through the cracks, right?
No, that's huge. I mean, come on, from 8 months to 3 months, what does that mean for an organization in terms of sales and dollars and actual revenue? I mean, and especially depending on what they're selling. So if it's a SaaS model or something else, what does that do for all those internal metrics that you live and die by? I mean, that's amazing to be able to do that. And also, depending on the organization, if they have turnaround, other things like that. A lot of times, turnaround can be not necessarily because of work environment or culture or anything else. Sometimes it's just technology. It's a pain. People don't want to do in my opinion, there's a problem if somebody using Facebook or Instagram works better, and they have a better user experience with that just because it's easy to use than using 10 programs at your organization and they're supposed to do their job with. It's frustrating.
Absolutely. And so for some added insight on that as well, we have one guy who's our head of growth, Christian Patel. Amazing at what he does, right? He actually sets over 250 plus demos a month for our sales team alone. So talk about cost saving, time saving, the ability to set that many demos and the amount of people you need to hire to be able to set that many demos it would definitely cost a lot more and take a lot more time as well.
Wow, that's unbelievable. So Ramsey, if somebody's listening to this, especially if they're a head of sales or if they run the sales in their organization, because right now they got to be licking their chops and like, oh, so what is this Apollo thing? What's the best way? Or they should be, because I mean, just even from management perspective, to not have to spend that amount of time. I mean, just up and down the organization, it's a win. What's the best route for somebody to learn more about Apollo, Ramsey?
You could always go to apollo.io and request to get a demo. Happy to connect you with one of our sales members, or feel free to hit me up directly on LinkedIn. My name is Ramsey Al-Ramahi. LinkedIn is LinkedIn/RAMSEY. Last name is ALRAMAHI. Whatever's easiest for you.
Perfect. Well, hey, Ramsey, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background. From ice cream to head of sales, that's what I would title it. Awesome stuff you're doing there at Apollo. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a review on the Apple iTunes store. Do all those great things we do to support our podcasters. It really does mean a lot to me. And Ramsey, thanks again for coming on the show.